Hey everybody, welcome to DFW's Real Estate Best, where Wednesdays at 11 a.m. we have some of the best in real estate, both agents and businesses on the show sharing. And it's just an awesome time to learn, get inspired, get challenged. And today we have some amazing guests. We're going to be talking about how to strategically expand your real estate team, leveraging living in the community you serve, and also the importance of building your real estate model on client retention and more. So if any of that piques your interest, or hey, you just want to tune in and hear from some fantastic people in some of the best in real estate, again, here in DFW, I encourage you to tune in. Welcome everyone. As mentioned, this is DFW's Real Estate Best. My name is Rachelle Marie, and we are powered by The Difference. Lendon, gotta say a huge thanks to you backstage. He is the gentleman that provides awesome digital branding for both businesses, large and small. And so if you are interested in expanding your digital footprint, getting into podcasts, live stream, we encourage you to reach out. And I'm going to give Lendon some time at the end of the show to share. But as mentioned, we have some of the best in real estate, both business and a top agent that will be joining the show today. And so I want to welcome on, firstly, Juliette Domino. She's the Director of Business Development at Alamo Title Park Cities, and she's also an RP vetted business in Dallas. And also Phil Hobson we have on the show today. For those of you a part of the Dallas Real Producers community, you might recognize this face here because he's actually been a cover story for us at Dallas Real Producers. He is in the top 100 highest producing agents here in Dallas, and he is the team leader of the age group with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, PenFed Realty, Texas. I knew I might mess up that title there. My apologies. But how are you guys?
Good, doing well.
Doing great. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Yeah, well, just excited to dive into your stories today. And for those of you watching who might tune in regularly, you might know at the end of the show, I like to usually do a speed round of questions. I want to start today's podcast a little bit differently and start with a few speed round questions for people just to get to know you, hear from you guys a little bit, just outside of the box perhaps before we dive into your story. So let's do that here. Firstly, I want to ask, obviously being in real estate, both of you, you know the best places to go. And so what would you say best place to dine in Dallas? Phil, let's start with you.
Me. Well, I am a creature of habit to some degree. So, I have my staple places that I like to go to. Tex-Mex is definitely something that me and my friends, my partner, we love Tex-Mex. So, Mi Casinas is always a staple for us.
Yes.
Because, when we moved to Dallas back in 2003, we lived up in far north Dallas, and we like to visit local places. And so when we lived up north of 635, there was a Mi Casinas up there that we actually went to very often, and we frequented, and they got to know us as family. We met a lot of friends there, and then we've moved down to the southern part of the Metroplex here in Uptown area, and we still go to a Mi Casina there. So I would say for me, I'm more of a creature of habit, so Mi Casina is one.
You'd say that. Well, hey, now I know I took my brother to the right place when he visited me a little while ago because we went to Mi Casinas, and he was sold. He was like, this is really good. So I took him to the right place. Juliette, what about you?
I would say eating is one of our favorite pastimes and going out. We do it quite often. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. We love, I think Town Hearth is probably our favorite restaurant, and that whole conglomerate of restaurants, neighborhood services, Yo Lobster, everything they do is just perfect. And then you can always find us probably on most Thursdays at Ficini in Highland Park Village. They have amazing, amazing Italian food. So we are also creatures of habit.
Okay, I was going to say, are you a creature or habit, or it sounds more like maybe mixing a little bit, but those are the places to go?
Yeah, those are our favorite places. I would say we lean more towards the creature of habit. We know good quality, and we love to, like Phil said, make relationships with those people so they know when you come in what you like, and kind of order the same thing from the menu too.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Now, place to unwind. Phil, where's that place for you?
Well, for me, real estate is kind of a full-time thing. So we are here, we're plugging and chugging, working all through the week really hard. We have a property outside of Dallas at Cedar Creek Lake. We like to go there and try to unwind. But you know what? Real estate's full-time. So we try to disconnect, but it keeps pulling us back in. But Cedar Creek Lake, we live in a community down there called Pinnacle Club, where it's nice to see the lake views, and it's nice to kind of relax with friends down there around a fire pit. So Cedar Creek Lake, good place to unwind, or just take long walks and bike ride. That's nice.
Awesome. I love to hear the fire pit, because coming from Canada, that was like a regular pastime. But here in Texas, people are like, bonfires, fire pits, what? But I'm not alone. Phil, you also enjoy the fire pit. Juliette, place to unwind for you?
Well, oddly enough, we also have
Oh, I think we'll, the internet must have dropped there, so we'll make sure to catch back with Juliette when she's able to join again. But Phil, I'm guessing that she's probably going to say the lake house too.
I think that's what she was saying. The Dominoes have a lake house as well at Cedar Creek Lake. We're proud and happy that they're our neighbors. And I think that's what Juliette was trying to convey when her connection cut. But yes, Cedar Creek Lake, Pinnacle Club. We have friends all over the lake, but we kind of stay. Oh, there you are.
There you are. We were guessing. Tell us if we're right, Juliette. Oh no, we must be having some connectivity issues. For those of you that are listening in, Juliette keeps popping in and out, but hopefully she'll be able to join back in a moment. And Phil, we'll find out if we were right in our guess of the lake house. But I'm putting my bet on that. Phil, the last question before we dive into some of your story and things here. What would you be doing right now? Oh, Juliette.
I'm so sorry. I don't know why it keeps popping off. I apologize.
That is okay. So Phil and I have to know, we were guessing that your place to unwind would be the lake house. Are we correct or not?
That is correct. Yes. Same thing on the weekend, sitting by the fire pit, getting on the lake, jet skis or boat. Just, it's really a getaway. And the nice thing that Cedar Creek, it's an hour door to door. So you can go on that Friday after work and go back Sunday, and it's like a mini vacation every 5 days. So it's very nice and very relaxing, and also not the best of it down to you.
Awesome. Well, that's one thing I think I love about Dallas, is that you can have that city life. You're working, but then an hour away, you can go to places like Cedar Creek Lake or Las Colinas and just enjoy some time away. And so that's awesome. Yeah. Now, I was asking, last question before we dive into your stories here, what would you be doing? Speaking of full-time, Phil, it's a full-time job, but what would you be doing right now if you were not here on the DFW's Real Estate Best podcast and live stream?
if I wasn't here right now,
Yes. What would
my
you be doing?
time is during the day, because I come from a traditional like corporate structure. So I know a lot of real estate agents, it's a little different because we look at it as more of a flexible lifestyle. However, I still approach my real estate with a very structured approach. So I would probably be touching base with clients. I would be looking at my calendar over the next few days and planning things for either new listings or buyer tours or something like that. So unfortunately, it'd probably be work, but work is a good thing because it supports our customers and clients.
Of course, of course. Juliette, what about you?
I would probably, if at this very moment, I would probably be either hosting a CE class. So we'd be in there doing that. We do a lot of CE classes, or walking, popping into one of our agents or one of our brokerages and kind of networking with some agents, or, going to a networking event through one of the other organizations like WCR or Metrotex, kind of just being out in the field. Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Well, so people are probably listening in and seeming like Phil and Juliette know each other pretty well. Phil knew that Juliette would be at the lake house to unwind. So let's start here. How do you both know each other?
Who do you want to start?
Phil, let's start with you here.
Okay. Juliette and I have known each other probably since about 2010. Alamo Title, I've known Alamo probably since about 2005. So I moved to Dallas in 2003 with my partner, and that was a life-changing event. Got into real estate in 2003. And obviously, through taking classes and things of that nature, I met a loan officer who introduced me to Alamo Title, Juliette Domino. And through working transactions with Alamo Title, Juliette joined the company, I think, around 2010, and I had the privilege of meeting her and just entwining my real estate business with them, because obviously we need title partners and we need mortgage partners. Right. And you always have your preferred, and Alamo Title is one of my preferred title partners. And with Juliette's role being business development, she's reaching out, inquiring about how our business is going, if there's any assistance that Alamo Title can provide us. And I always enjoy closing with them, and we've just built that relationship through our transactions together.
Right. Now, some people listening in might be like, okay, so you have your preferred and then your other ones that you use. How did Alamo Title get into that preferred? I mean, you guys have a solid relationship. You've been working together for a long time. What is it about Alamo Title?
Alamo Title provides great customer service. Juliette Domino and Juliette, Cody is, I see him a lot more and talk to him a lot more because, Cody's actually the escrow officer. So Juliette's the business development person, but both roles are very important. Why they're on the preferred list is because customer service is one of my key staples for my business. So I always look for my preferred partners that have a similar work ethic and similar business model.
That's good.
So I think that's why it's important. Cody, as far as closing clients, he'll come in early, stay late, because we know the real estate market, it's not a 9-to-5 job like other industries are. So I'm always looking for those partners that will help be a little flexible. Not that everybody has lives too, so I don't expect them to work all the time. But that's the customer service that Alamo Title provides to my clients is why I keep going back. You want to do business with those that treat your clients the way that you want to be treated. And they do an excellent job providing that customer service to my clients and myself. So
right. And I know from speaking with you, Phil, and getting to know you, how huge customer service is for you. And I'm excited to dive into that a little bit later in the show. But Juliette, it is true. We are just talking about you. Welcome back. I know the internet popped out there for a moment for those listening in. Wonder why Juliette's so quiet there.
I'm so sorry.
No worries. All good. But I know that customer service is huge for you.
Yes.
And some people listening in, we're talking about Alamo Title, but specifically it's Alamo Title Park Cities.
Correct.
Because not all Alamo Title companies are the same, right?
Correct. Yes. So Alamo Title Park Cities, my husband, Cody Domino, is the escrow officer, and he's had this office for 13 plus years. So we're an individually owned office under the Alamo Title brand. So there's fees and directs, and this is the only office that we own and operate. So when people say, oh, I sent something to another Alamo office, we love all of them. They all give wonderful quality service. And we support all of them. But, as far as the customer service, we here at Alamo Title Park Cities really just go above and beyond. And thank you, Phil, for that. We really do pride ourselves on that here at the Park Cities office of being available 24/7. And, having also the experience with Cody for 23 plus years.
Yeah. Now, how did you both get into the title business? Juliette?
Yeah. So it's been 10 and a half years for me. I was a stay-at-home mom prior to that for 16 years and came into the office doing the marketing. And to be honest, did not, even though I had bought and sold some homes throughout my life, title insurance is kind of a difficult concept that the average bear probably would not understand or comprehend. So when I came into it, I had, definitely there's a learning curve because it is a complicated topic, title insurance and exactly what that is. So through those 10 and a half years, I've been out, gaining that knowledge, networking with people and forming those relationships. So, and I have, of course, great support with Cody and, helping me with that. Sorry about that. Can't figure out what's ringing. So
when you said you're available the client, availability there to your clients, it really is no joke that you and Cody are available 24/7. We hear the phone ringing there. You talk about Cody being available like on a 7 a.m. on a Saturday. He sleeps with his phone. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, right here, right on, just in case it rings. Perfect example, is, well, like Phil has said, real estate agents are 24/7. If they have a client that wants to see a home, Thursday night at 9, and, they're going to have to see that, and they need to call and see what, what are the closing costs? What could be, the potential price or what they're going to have to bring to the table. And we want to respond to our agents like Phil immediately, because especially in this market where it's so dire that you get this information, you get that contract, multiple offers. Sometimes it's a hair on fire situation, and we've got to be available and accessible to our real estate agents, just as they are to their clients.
Right.
It's really important to have that information because it's a very hot market, especially here in DFW right now.
Right. Definitely. Now, Phil, going back to what you were saying, getting into the business, I think you said 2003, and you connected with Cody and Juliette soon after. But what inspired you, 2003, to make this move to real estate?
So 2003 was a life-changing year. My partner and I decided to leave Michigan. So we're both Midwesterners. I'm from Indiana. Dwayne's from Michigan. So I was living in Michigan, and we decided no more snow for us. That year there was a blizzard in Michigan, and we were without power for a few days.
I know it, coming from Canada.
Which is crazy. And we said, let's go somewhere warm. So we moved here. I was in a corporate job at that point. I come from the technology industry. So I worked for a consulting firm and traveled for a number of years with consulting. So I worked in the IT arena. And when I moved here, I just thought, what would be something that I can take that IT skill set and transcribe it over to a new industry. We sold our house in Michigan, enjoyed that process, and it kind of put a bug in my ear about real estate. Came here, looked into it. Friends of ours were in real estate in Michigan and knew that would be something I could be interested in. So looked that up and took the classes, and within about 6 months, started actively working in real estate. I think I mentioned earlier in those classes, met a mortgage broker. Mortgage broker introduced me to Alamo Title, and we are here today. So kind of how it
Awesome.
happened.
I love that. And I can't tell you how many times I've heard from, talking with top agents that usually going into real estate, wasn't their first career choice, something they never expected, but they've used, the skills that they've developed through, their previous jobs in real estate. And I think that that's just so neat and amazing to hear some of the ways that you are using your background in real estate, which I know one of those things is building a pipeline.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes, so in all sales, and I think this conveys over into real estate title, what Juliette does. I'm used to the terminology pipelines. So I'm a planner. So what I do is I set my goals for the year, and then to achieve those goals, you have to have a pipeline, and that pipeline are buyers, sellers. Where do you find those? We call those leads. And then you have to apply another layer, which would be either networking or just keeping in touch with your client base. So that's a pipeline, looking at the client base and seeing how you can service their friends and family. So yeah, I'm very familiar with that. That was the model that I grew up in corporate America and technology sales. You always had goals put upon you, and we all had managers in corporate markets. So accountability, very important in this industry. You can't just sit back and wait for the phone to ring. You've got to figure out how you can make the phone ring. So.
Right. And I want to dive more into that, Phil, about the practical ways of, like you said, how to make that phone ring for those sitting there doing exactly that. But one thing I love about both of you is that you are big about living in the community you serve. I know for Phil, that has just driven the direction of how you go about recruiting different team members, a part of your team. But Juliette, how has that made a difference for you guys living in the community you serve?
Yeah, it's a wonderful thing when you see, your agents or even your home buyers and sellers, your lender in your community, at your daughter's school, at the grocery store, and you really start to form that personal relationship with them. So we like to, of course, and I have 100% confidence that we can build that professional relationship, and we serve them well. We do what we need to do at the closing table and everything prior and post. But you also then get to tap into that, like, oh, how did Jenny do in her cheer competition? Or, would y'all like to go to dinner with us to Town Hearth? We really like to see those people that we work with on a personal level, because then you get to dive deeper into that relationship instead of just the professional, which we love to do. We do it well. We serve them in any way that we can for, that area. But then professional, it's like you just get to dive deeper and know them well, and it makes a stronger connection, right? So we love working in our community and seeing all the people, but we do, of course, work everywhere else too in the state of Texas. But it is neat to be able to see these people on the weekends or go on vacation or go, to dinner with them. Well, yeah.
Right. Now, I know some people would be like, don't mix business and personal. But I know for you, as you shared with me, you like to play and work in the same realm. Has that always been that case for you? Or did you have to break down some, train of thought that, a lot of people carry, that you can't mix those things?
There are some people that can't mix those things, but I am just the person to get you in and get to know you relationally. I think it's just a great thing. I mean, when people come into our office, I'm a hugger. I want to be able to come in and hug them and say, how are you doing? So good to see you. How is your mom doing? And get to know them, because it makes them feel like they're, a friend, a part of the family. And it's not just a cold business deal, that there's no relation. And I think people kind of, especially because it's a very emotional process. For the buyer and seller, for sure. And sometimes for the real estate agent, if it's been, kind of an intense contract process, and to be able to kind of take it down a level and, give them a hug and make them feel welcome and kind of ease it. I think, it's a great way, to get these people and for them to feel comfort and make them feel secure that, hey, we've got your back here, because we care.
Right.
Yeah.
Phil, how has that made a difference for you?
As far as the cross-pollination of personal and business,
yes,
it actually makes the whole process more personable. I mean, because in life we can get into a phase of just transaction, which is a process. But if you truly love what you do and you embrace what you do, you've got to let that personal element come into it, because our careers are such a big part of our life that it would be a shame not to personalize it, because we're involved in it so much that you've got to bring that relationship side into it, and you've got to bring your clients onto the friend side, because nurturing your clients and actually letting them transition from a transactional perspective into a friend perspective is what helps you grow your business. And I think it's just a natural way to embed that into a business growth model.
Right. You want to work with people that you like, that you would be like, hey, I want to hang out with you on the weekend, even when it's not 9 to 5 or, real estate goes beyond, but, you want to hang out with them. And I think that that's so neat that you guys are exactly that. You work together, but you're also hanging out on the weekends at the lake house. And I think that that's so key. Now, Phil, you again have strategically grown your team by choosing team members who work in the area that you want them to serve.
Yes.
Why has that been so important to you?
Well, one thing, I think it all stems back to the common goal, which Alamo provides and what Age Group provides, is customer service. You have to build a foundation on what you're going to do. And so if you build customer service, what's important with that is making sure we have representation of my team members in those specific areas. So, and I don't mandate that, but obviously when I'm looking for people to add to the team, I want to make sure it's within an area, that is a desirable thing for Dallas and a desirable thing for building our pipeline. So I looked at agents, and I didn't want that overlap initially. Now, eventually, as the team grows, maybe there will be overlap. But right now, the way Age Group has been structured and developed is there's an agent on my team that lives in a different geographical location. I'm at Lovers and Inwood. I have a team member that's in the Midway Hollow area. I have a team member that is in the Lake Highlands area, one that is in the South Lakewood area, one that's up in Carrollton, and then one that's in Plano.
Awesome. So, you guys are stretching far and wide there.
The reason for that is, when we do have listings in those areas, we have an agent that's close by and can be dispatched if there's a customer emergency on that listing. And in a team model, we help each other. We all help each other out. Even if it's not your listing and you're busy, we can call on one of our other team members to go service that customer. Because here at Age Group is our team. Our clients are all clients of Age Group. And when you work with us, you have, multiple resources at your disposal. So.
Right. No, that's great. And I know for a lot of people that I'm hearing in real estate this year, their goal is to grow a team. Yeah. And so any other advice or wisdom that you would share with those, Phil, who are wanting to do just that, get some team members?
So my advice would be, and this is basically because of my personality, I don't do things super quick. So everything is grown slowly. I truly believe, and I think this is a phrase in business: don't grow too quickly, because you possibly could set yourself up for failure. So I've growing age group started in 2010. So it's been a long time in the making. We're in 2022 now, to get age group up to a 6-member team. So
right.
I mean, there are other teams that grow faster. That's just my comfort zone.
Right.
I say, do what makes you comfortable, because obviously you, the team leader, have to be comfortable with what you're doing, because you're ultimately the one supporting the infrastructure. And with more resources that come on, requires more time allotment, for those resources, because you have to support the team and make sure you're capable of doing that. Grow it at your own pace, which hopefully secures success. So
Right.
that would be my advice.
Right. And I like what you were saying too about also leaning on each other if you need help or in a certain area. And I know one of the strengths, of course, with teams is that people have different giftings and abilities, real estate areas they know better than others. And certainly, I'm sure for you, Juliette, knowing one of your main team members there being your husband, Cody, talk about being a husband and wife team for a moment here.
Yeah, in our situation, which is what I can speak on, is that the dynamic is really good. It's communication. He's the easiest product to sell because I have 100% faith in him, and it's interesting because when I go out and I talk to agents, whether it's over lunch or at networking events, they're like, oh my goodness, Cody is the best of the best, which makes it easier. And I hear, there's so many great escrow officers out there, but, who better than your wife to uplift you and sell you, right?
Right. Well, truly what goes on behind the scenes.
Yes, when I tell you he sleeps with his phone, he does. When I can tell you that he answers phone calls, I mean, he's answered them from Dubai and Thailand in the middle of the night. I mean, I see it and I hear it, and I can vouch that he is 24/7. I know that he puts 100% of his work effort into this business. He's grown it to what it is, right? It is great that I think when people see us out together and we see one of our agents and they're like, we're here tag teaming this and just building and feeding off each other. And I think that it shows. I mean, that's why, we've been in business, had this office for 16 plus years, especially through the hard times, through 2008, which was really difficult, and Phil experienced it too. I mean, it was hard to get through that, and he did. And I think, he's the product, and it is easy. And I have 100% faith and confidence in his ability as an escrow officer.
Right.
Yeah, and I think it's, I'm his biggest fan, right? I'm his wife.
I love that. I know that, for some people it works working with your family members and other people, not the same story, but I think it's just fantastic seeing you and Cody and how you work together, but also how your giftings complement one another.
Yes, for that is accurate.
Like you said, Cody likes to crunch and punch the numbers, and you love just being out and about building relationships.
I am. Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's been doing this for so long. Phil could probably attest there's not a deal that he can't work out, and he actually thrives off those, some of those things that are a little bit harder to work through, and he can do it and he makes it happen. And then my gift is probably out there, being more social and, teeing up the ball for him. And then I know that he knocks it out of the park every time.
Right. And I know, like, even for us with Real Producers, our team, like we complement or even balance each other out, just we've had some good talks within the team talking about different strengths and weaknesses and how it's like, all right, you're helping me grow, move more in the, so we balance each other out here. And so I think that that's also just such a key thing when growing a team, to look for those that aren't necessarily the same like you. Like they have different giftings and skill sets that you can all complement. one another. But one of those things I'm wondering would be, can you compromise on experience, or how important is experience in this business? Speaking Juliette, Cody, I think you said 25 years of experience in this business, which is why he thrives on those hard deals because he knows what he's doing. How important is experience, would you both say?
I would say it's, exponentially important, I mean, especially the market that we're in, that it's something that you've got to be able to think quick on your feet. And, if there's a cash deal you want to close in 24 hours, you have to be someone that's very proactive and that can work through that as far as the title perspective. Or, people, needing the information, like I said, it's a 9 o'clock on a Thursday, someone that they know is going to be available, that's going to have the answer, that, we give our cell phone to everybody. We prefer people to call us on our cell. We have, our cells with us 24/7. We don't want them to call the office and go to voicemail at 5:30 or whatever. Not that we're not here at 5:30, but, just to have that knowledge and experience, and the knowledge of what a transaction can do, if it can blow up, if we can help the agent save it, we've got to be able, to do. And with Cody having that knowledge and experience over 25 years, 23 plus years, I think is just, it's a great thing to have in your back pocket. If someone asks me, we've got a big deal, I mean, I'm absolutely, call Cody right now on his cell phone. I guarantee you he will know that answer.
That's awesome. I love that. Phil, what about you? How important is experience in this field, especially in today's market?
Experience is very important. And the reason why I choose my preferred partners to partner with is because of their experience, because ultimately they're working with my clients, and we want every deal, every transaction to go smoothly. And now it's not that we all know everything, because we don't, but it's presenting yourself in a manner in which you make the client feel confident and comfortable. And if there's something that we need to research, we'll go back in the background and research it. And that comes with time. That comes with the experience that all of us have in our respective industries. I don't know everything about real estate. Every day is a learning day. We embrace that, and we support our customers and our clients, and we support our partners, because we can't do this. This is a team. We can't do this. I have a team behind me. H Group is a team. We're all very instrumental in making things successful for our customers. Our partners are part of that team too. Our partners are part of that team too. I lean on Alamo Title. I don't know that knowledge that they know, and that's why partnerships are very important in this industry, and choosing the right team for you to buy or sell your house. Now, team is title, escrow, real estate, and more. There's more competencies that go into a full real estate transaction. And that's why it's so important to have that experience.
Right. And I love that mindset too. Every day, going into every day, that this is a learning experience. I think that that's so important. I mean, people might be wondering, like, how did Phil, become a top 100 highest producing agent in Dallas? Obviously, we're talking about some keys during this show, but I'm sure certainly that is one of them. That mind shift going into every single day, that I'm going to be learning today. I'm going to be growing today. Correct. And so, yeah. Now, I know for you, Phil, starting into real estate 2003, this wasn't going to be a part-time job. It was very important to you that if I'm going to be an agent, I'm going to be full-time. Was that due to, the experience, being able to gather up experience, or why was that so key for you?
Well, I came from a full-time structure. So that's really what I knew. So corporate America, always been in sales and marketing. So sales and marketing, for those of you out there that are not a commission-based person, very different lifestyle. So,
Right.
you know, there is accountability that you have to build into your day-to-day model because your livelihood depends on that. So now came from a salaried plus commission structure and then went to a full commission-based structure, which is what real estate is. It's a double-edged sword. You know, it makes you get up every day and it makes you work hard to put a process in place that will help, you know, you get to the transaction table with companies like Alamo Title. You know, obviously, we get paid at the closing table, so you have to put those things into your model to reap those rewards at the end. And ultimately, what we are doing is building a model that allows us to be successful, allows our clients to be successful, and it allows our partnerships to be successful as well. So that was my structure full time. Very important because that's a marketing bullet for me for when I do listing appointments. Is, you know, you want to work with somebody that's full time, especially in this market, because the inventory comes on, goes off. You need your agent to be available. And that's why team models, you mentioned earlier that you've talked to a lot of agents that are looking to build those team structures.
They are.
And the reason why I did it was because you hit a ceiling. Your production can only go so far, and you have to look at different avenues, ways to support more clients, but support them and provide the same level of customer service. And team structures allow you to do that.
Right. Now, how do you make sure, Phil, that your team is providing that same level of excellence of customer service like yourself? I know that, again, looking where they live is important, but I know, as you just expressed, that level of customer service is so important to you. So is there mentorship that goes on, or how is that assessed and made sure it's reflecting of you?
And ultimately, you know, I want to be clear, you know, H Group is not me. I mean, I am the leader of H Group, but H Group is me. You know, there's 5 wonderful people behind me. And they're equally responsible for all of our success that we've had over the years. And I lost my train of thought.
No, that's okay. We're just talking about, is there mentorship that goes on with your team?
That's the word I was looking for, mentorship. Yes. So when I developed Teams Group, the H Group model, mentorship is kind of my approach. You know, I come from a corporate structure where it's, you know, boss employee. I don't look at life. I don't look at real estate that way because we're all independent contractors. So I look at all my agents to function and run their model the way they want to run their, you know, their client base. Okay. But I look at H Group as a mentorship structure where I can actually help guide them through the processes if they, you know, because I've been doing this for 18 years. That's not the longest that any real estate agent's been doing this. There's more that have been doing it for longer. But again, we all learn differently. So I try to instill what I've learned to all my agents, and I do that through a mentorship structure. I never say I'm your boss. I'm not. I mean, I'm their partner. They look to me for leadership, you know, as a team leader, which is part of that model. Right. I truly believe in nurturing. You know, we nurture our clients. We need to nurture each other, you know, in our team structure as well. That's good. I try to make myself available for them when I'm not on customer appointments. I have, my rule is I don't answer the phone if I'm with a client. And I know that can be frustrating for some, but if I'm with a client, I have put that time on my schedule for that client. Right. I don't answer my phone. I come from that respect model of corporate where give your client your undivided attention while you're with them. So
that's good. Now, talking about nurturing team, nurturing clients, I know that is so important to both of you, nurturing those relationships. And Phil, you've said you have built your real estate model on client retention. Let's talk about, why is that so important for someone to build their real estate model, Juliette, Phil, on client retention, and how do you nurture those relationships?
Who did you want to?
Anyone and everyone.
I'll go. You know, So that's my job, is to meet new agents, or, to have the Phil Hobsons of the world as our client, and to continue to reach out to him, give him top quality service, make sure his transaction closes smoothly and he gets paid at the closing table, at the end of the day at that transaction, and to give him that level of service where he's like, feels like that was a great experience. My next contract will be going there because Cody has the experience, the knowledge. Juliette has the relational, is keeping up with what's going on in my life, and more of the personal level, and Cody's the professional level, and hope to, always get that next contract from them. So we love to retain our clients, as the real estate agent or the lender, which are typically the title company's clients, because they've experienced it, right? They've experienced the transaction with Cody, with our office, and they know what to expect, and they expect that level of service to come in, and, once they've tasted it, they're like, that was wonderful. Everybody at the end of the day was happy, and it was a smooth transaction. And then it's my job to keep following up with them and to, tap back in. Don't forget about us on your next, contract. You loved it the first time, keep coming back, or the Phil Hobsons of the world. You love the first 300 transactions. Keep coming back. So it's really important. And I think it's a great thing once we get that client in the door and they have that sample and see how smooth and enjoyable the transaction can be. It's easy for them to come back. It's easy for them. And then we always reach out to the other side, and say, hey, it went great. It's my job to follow up with them. It went great, smooth. We'd love for you to direct your next contract to us.
Right. And I'm sure some people are listening in, and enjoyable, the experience being enjoyable. How did the Dominoes do this?
Yeah. Through experience, through doing it for so long, and I think having that relationship, that's how we try to make it at that very stressful closing day, when everybody's tension and emotions are high, just to kind of bring it down.
Right. And I'm sure the warmth that people are feeling, listening in or tuning in to the live stream, Juliette's the real deal. I told you the last time we were together, I think that you always just carry this sense of warmth and just such friendliness, like you just feel welcome. And also at the same time, just such a sense of professionalism. And so really, you do mix personal and business, that warmth, and also professionalism well, which I'm sure Phil can attest to that not everyone can do. But I love that. So yeah, Phil, what about you? Why has building your model on client retention been so important?
Well, one thing I've learned early on in real estate, when you're every day going into the office trying to find new avenues to get customers, one thing you learn very quickly is to be a real estate agent, there are fees that get charged to you from your brokers, from Texas Real Estate Commission, from our local boards. Well, those invoices keep coming. So what you have to figure in the beginning is how do we get revenue in to pay those invoices? So, and when I would go on listing appointments in the very beginning, one thing I heard is, because I always do my research, if somebody bought a house 5 years ago, I always look to see who they purchased it through. And one of my questions was, well, you bought this through this agent, why are you not using them? And a very consistent answer I always got was, I never heard from that agent since my closing. We talked a lot up to the closing, and then as soon as the closing happened, I never heard from them. And that was my aha moment in structuring the team, that it's more costly to find a new client than it is just to retain the clients that you have, build those relationships, nurture those customers, recognize them on key dates, birthdays, anniversaries, birth of children, life events that are happening, monitor them on social media, become a friend, extend the relationship beyond the closing table. Because ultimately right now, age group, I know I can speak for myself and my model, 60% of my business comes from my past customers and my past
Wow.
clients, through nurturing those relationships, acknowledging them, not treating them like a transaction, but bringing them into the family, the age group family, so they feel like they're a part of something bigger. So.
Right. So what would you say to those agents who say, but Phil, I don't have time? I guess that goes to what we were saying about, mixed business and personal. This is a part of the perhaps job in being real estate. What would you say?
Unfortunately, you have to make time. Time blocking is so important. You're either going to be spending time trying to find a new client, or if you put systems, all of this is system driven. I think that's where my technology background kind of plays into the success of real estate. And if you notice, a lot of the new real estate brokerages that are coming, into our industry, they all have technology behind them. So everybody needs to embrace technology, because technology helps us be more efficient and effective in doing our job. It should not be a hindrance. You should embrace it and then incorporate it into your model, because I use technology to remind me of key dates, closing dates, birthdays. If you implement those solutions, it becomes part of your process. And that process doesn't take time if you put that. It takes time up in the front to set that process up. But once it's set up, it's just managing the process.
Right.
And we all have to make time. You have to decide what you want to commit your time to. Going out there and hitting the streets and getting new clients, or nurturing those clients you have, which will take at least a fourth amount of the time than it does. And the cost, I've always read studies where the cost of procuring a new client is probably 4 times more than what it is if you just retain the customers that you have.
Right. That's so key. And I think time blocking as well, like you said, because speaking of technology, and one of those avenues you said of building relationship is, hey, friend them on social media, get connected that way. But as we all know, we can spend a little bit too much time scrolling and get lost in that sphere. But I think that's where you said, no, you can make it efficient. We just need to block out those times.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. Well, Juliette. Oh, sorry.
You can start the day. If you time block, my first 2 hours is looking at all my social media channels and seeing what's happening in your customers' lives. Make a note of it, and then move on to your next task of whatever that is. So.
Right. That's good. Well, we are almost at the end of the show here. And before we go to a few more speed round questions, Juliette, anything you want to add further about building and growing relationship?
It's an ongoing process. There's someone new every day to go out and meet. And we always love to have that new business come in. But like Phil said, it's a lot easier, and I 100% agree, to retain those clients that you have. They've experienced your service. They know how you operate. And it's a lot easier to maintain that. But you kind of have to do both, right, to fill your pipeline. So it kind of all full circles back. We've got to keep filling our pipeline as well as working through the current business that we have. So it's equally, for me, it's probably a 50-50 of having to maintain those current clients that we have, and always, touching them, going out and keeping tabs and let them know we're still here, because, there's a lot of title companies, there's a lot of real estate agents, of course, H Group and Alamo Title Park Cities superior. But you've got to keep going out and reaching out to them, but then maintain and keep filling, your pipeline with the new clients as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, as mentioned, I want to do a speed round of a few questions here. And so we'll just, keep these to a sentence, sentence or two answers. Or maybe some words. First one I want to throw out to you guys. We actually put it in the closed, I don't know if you guys can see the closed Facebook group. We have a closed group for those a part of the DFW Real Producers community, which means they are the highest producing real estate agents here in DFW, best, most highly recommended business businesses. And so if you're an agent or a business that's RP vetted and you're not a part, make sure to click the request to join button. But we threw out a question on there based upon a quote from Troy George, a top producing real estate agent in North Fort Worth. And he said, "We hang our hats on integrity, honesty, experience, and dedication." And so we threw that out to the group and we said, "Hey, what do you hang your hat on?" And so, Phil, let's start with you. What would you say, end of the day, you hang your hat on?
We hang here at H Group, we hang our hat on professionalism. Integrity is a very important word that we hang our hat on. Customer service. I think you have to be a customer service driven organization to get that repeat client base. So professionalism, integrity, and customer service are, I think, some of the key words. And hardworking.
Good.
And dedicated. So.
Good.
Throw in another one.
I know it's so hard, just to like pick a couple of words there. It's like, how do you do that? So forgive me for throwing you on the spot like that. But Juliette, what would you say?
Well, Phil took all of mine. I would, our office, I would say customer service is 99.999% of it. Being available, being, here 24/7 available is going to be the number one. Cody, for those of y'all that know him, is the epitome of professional, and carries himself like that, through every transaction and that experience.
Love that.
Yeah.
What would you say motivates you in business? Those of you listening in, I always ask this. So I got to ask Phil and Juliette, what motivates you in a sentence or two? Phil, we'll start with you.
Okay. So what motivates me in business? I want to caveat that. So, I come from, I've said this multiple times, a corporate structure. So with that, there's always been accountability placed on top of and everything that I've done in my past careers. So I've carried that forward into real estate. So what motivates me, and only for the fact that I think it supports the whole full-time real estate accolades. So things like Real Producers, being selected within Real Producers every year is a big motivator for me. D Magazine, those things motivate me because a lot of that is based on our clients voting for us, which goes back to customer service. So, and it's not just to have those awards, but it's to show that H Group is a full-time organization, and that if we can achieve these acknowledgments or accolades, then hopefully it'll transfer into that we're a good team to partner with on your buy and sell needs, because we take the time to motivate ourselves to earn these accolades. So
right. I love that. I love too what I've heard you said before, that those accolades provide also goals, for you, which I think is also a great perspective with those. But Juliette, what about you? What motivates you in business?
I think having the relationships and people, email, texting, calling, saying, I have another contract coming your way. It's such a great feeling that when they have the confidence and the knowledge, the confidence and the desire to continue to use our office, because there are choices, and they want to use us, and they keep sending us contracts. It's like, we feel like they feel comfortable. They know that it's going to get done, and it's going to get done well. I would say that's my motivation, and I probably will speak for Cody. His motivation is definitely at the closing table. When you hear laughter and you hear people enjoying themselves at a stressful time, and him to come out and go, we just made another friend. That was a great transaction. That keeps you wanting to keep doing it. And, let's get another one in the closing table. So Cody and I may have a different perspective on that. But when I see people continue to send us contracts because they know we're going to do a good job, it's like we've done well. They have the confidence in the ability of our office.
So good. So good. Now, Juliette, quick question just for you here, because we spent time a couple of weeks ago, a week ago. It's all meshing together now for me. Yeah. But filming a special promo video for something coming up for our Dallas Real Producer community on April 28th. Yeah. Without giving away necessarily details yet, how excited are you for April 28th?
Super excited. That was a very fun time with you. It was interesting and fun and something kind of out of my realm, but we had a great time doing it. And the event is going to be just, I think it's going to go over like gangbusters. I mean, people are going to have a wonderful time.
I agree. Now, I know those of you listening in are like, what is Juliette talking about? What is this here? So stay tuned. I think this week we might drop that promo video and you will see Juliette, myself, Jordan announcing something special. But go ahead, mark your calendars. April 28th, Dallas Real Producers. It is the first celebratory event of the year with those who made it 2022. So it's going to be good. Now, just quickly, Phil, Juliette, how do people get in touch with you if they are listening in and they want to reach out? Phil, let's start with you.
Rachelle, if I could also just say something, I can't do this without my support of my brokerage and my team. Can I acknowledge, because I'm not a broker, but I work for a broker. Right. So Berkshire Hathaway, PenFed Realty Texas is my brokerage. H Group is my team. My team members who make this happen along with me every day is Mike Harrison, Cindy Rice, Jackie Burks, Typhoon Asut, and Shelby Smith. So I awesome. really appreciate all their work and dedication to make H Group what it is. So as far as getting a hold of me, we have a website called hgrouphomes.com. I have a Facebook page, which is branded under H Group Homes. If you do the search for Facebook /H Group Homes, or my phone number is 214-659-3624. And then phil@hgrouphomes.com is the email address.
Great. So. Juliette, what about you? How do people stay in touch?
Cell, probably the best way. We always have our cell phone with us. My cell is 214-538-0531. Our website, which is new, and we're very proud of it. We would love for everybody to go visit it. It's AlamoTitleOfTexas.com. And you can always reach out to us there, or my email, Juliette@AlamoTitleOfTexas.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you both for joining today. Thank you for those listening, watching. Make sure to give The Difference a like. You can catch us Wednesdays at 11 a.m. live streaming there, but also on their YouTube channel. And we're also on Spotify, iTunes, some other popular streaming platforms. So make sure to subscribe. Next Wednesday, 11 a.m. Jordan will be there. But thank you, London. And I'm sorry, we're going a few minutes over, I see. But come on in and help me close the show.
All right. Well, I want to thank everybody, Phil, Juliette, for being here today. We are over time, so we're going to have to wrap up now. But thank you for being here and being on Real Producers and helping everybody experience the difference.
Thank you.